Hello, welcome back to another Vlogmas video. Today we're going to talk about the 65 things that I absolutely love about living here in the UK. I'm going to rapid fire these because it's a little bit of a long list, but first set of things that I love is what I call the big picture. There are no animals here in the UK that can kill you. Bar like one snake, I think that is poisonous, but I'm pretty sure that's the only thing in the United Kingdom that can kill you as far as animals are concerned. Yeah, this one hits home. In northern New Jersey, it's bear country. There's alligators and crocodiles in the southeast. There's scorpions in the desert area and Texas. There's all kinds of stuff that can hurt you and kill you in the US as far as animals are concerned. And I have to say that it's a seriously underrated positive of living here in the UK that you don't have to worry about that. Number two is an obvious one, but needs to be mentioned. Gun control laws that actually make sense. That is, of course, a huge thing. And because I have a child that is school age and coming from the American system, yes, huge, huge plus for me. Number three, common sense approach to life in general. British just take life a little bit more seriously and less seriously at the same time, if that makes any sense. Number four, less pressure, but more acceptance. Number five, an understated and subtle culture. You're not so in your face and loud like, Americans can be, like I can be. Number six, British sarcasm. That's pretty self-explanatory. Number seven, the overall sense of community. I've talked about this before. Just the fact that strangers will help each other when they're in need. It's just understood that that's like a rule of society here. Love that kind of sense of community. It's definitely something we're lacking in America. Number eight, as I mentioned, in the sense of community, just the willingness to help overall. British people are just open and friendly and tend to just want to help everybody. Number nine, the diversity of culture and the acceptance of that diversity. Of course, there is a little bit of an uproar with the immigration issue here in the UK, but overall, most people are very accepting of different religions, different ethnicities, different races, different beliefs, all that kind of stuff. And it's really, really nice to have a certain level of tolerance that is severely lacking in the US. Also, before I move on, just a quick shout out to Girl Gone London for inspiring me with this video and all that she does to inspire me. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next section is the daily wins, the stuff that you don't realize matters as you're going throughout your day-to-day life, but truly does. Number 10, walkable cities and towns. I didn't realize how important this was until I moved here. Driving in the US all the time really grates on you, and it gets really, really tiring after a while, and it's kind of annoying that you have to drive everywhere. Understood there's a space issue and everything, the history of the countries, but just the fact that all the towns and cities here in the UK are pretty much walkable and you can get what you need at least to survive within walking distance is amazing. And of course, there's always a pub within walking distance too. That usually helps. Number 11, public footpaths. The fact that you can actually walk on private property to get from one place to another without worrying about disrupting something, getting arrested, or even worse. Number 12, green spaces are everywhere. And number 13 goes with this, the preservation of green spaces. The fact that you actually acknowledge that we need to preserve environments and we need to keep green spaces clean and manicured and available to people. I love that. Number 14, there's so many free things to do here in the UK, whether it's museums, whether it's just walking around the market. You can go to the beach for free, which is huge for me coming from New Jersey, where you have to pay to get on the beach. There's always something free that you can do. It's something that's interesting and different and unique, and I just love that part. Number 15, public services in general, having public services that are just available and you don't have to go through so much red tape to get them when you do need them. Number 16, hybrid healthcare system and the NHS. Coming from a severely corrupted private system. Of course, I'm in love with the NHS and I love what they do and I will always support them. But I do like that you have a hybrid system here. You have private healthcare options and you have a national health service option. And what's really great about it is not just that if you have the money, you can get different care, but also that it's regulated, like the pricing of the private care, because you have the NHS, the prices are not nearly as high as they could be. It doesn't break the bank nearly as much as it does in America because it has to compete with the services the NHS offers. So I really love that system. And I think that is probably something that could do a lot of good in the United States, though it probably will never happen. Number 17, mandatory PTO. The fact that you have a national law that you have to have a certain number of days off for vacation / holiday here in the UK. Fantastic. Don't have anything like that in the US. They should adopt it. Number 18, radiator heat. I just like it better. You can turn it off in each room, but still have the heat running. You don't have to heat up the whole house to feel warm in one specific area. That's fantastic. I really like that a lot. Number 19, the cost of groceries. I know that a lot of people are struggling with some of the costs that have risen here in the UK for the past few years. I really can't speak to that specifically and personally, but I will tell you that the cost of groceries here in the UK are significantly less than the cost of groceries in the United States. That was even before the tariffs started taking place and before the inflation got really, really high. Cost of bread equivalent is like a half of what I paid for a loaf of bread in the US. It's absolutely crazy. I know it's a little bit high for some of the UK people here because they don't know any differently, but compared to the US, it is significantly less for just groceries in general. Number 20, the public education system. And by this, I mean, obviously, the free education system that's available to everybody. I love that there's a universal curriculum. I love that there's options to study so many different things. And I love that you don't have to constantly fundraise for the school in order to get programs and special features. Of course, you have to pay for some extras like field trips and things like that, but you aren't required to have that in order to have a well-rounded child at the end of the day. And I really like that. The next section is food, comfort, and small joys. Number 21, pub lunches. I mean, you can have a pub meal anytime and it's really good, but there's something really special about pub lunches that I love. It's a completely different vibe in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day, than it compared to a Sunday roast. So that's all I'm saying. And it's fabulous. Roast dinners in general. I mean, it's basically Thanksgiving every week. Do I need to say more? Fish and chips, again, another staple. I don't know what they do to their chips in the chippies here in the UK, but they are phenomenal. And bangers and mash, another simple, cheap comfort food that is filling and delicious. Again, can't say much more about that. Number 25, Yorkshire puddings, speaks for itself. 26, dairy milk, absolutely love it. So much better than Hershey's. I don't know how I ever liked Hershey's. I can't even stomach Hershey's now. Dairy milk, I'm a little bit addicted to it, so I do have to watch my intake of it, but by far the best chocolate that I've had, always gonna love it. Number 27, Bourbon. Love these little cookies. They're little chocolate sandwich cookies with chocolate creams inside. They're delicious and they're usually the most inexpensive cookie / biscuit in the store, which is also right up my alley. Number 28, Weatherspoon's breakfast. Yes, I said it and I stand by it. I understand that it's kind of like a greasy spoon, grossy kind of meal for a lot of people, but I love it. For me, it's the closest thing that I have come to New Jersey, Pennsylvania diner breakfast that I used to have not all the time, but often when I lived in the United States. And it gives me a little bit of comfort and I can mix and match my food so I don't have to get a English breakfast with half the stuff on the plate I don't eat. Next set is culture that you feel, but not just see. So number 29, football culture. Now, I am not personally a huge football fan, although I'm kind of obligated to be a part of it because of my partner. But the thing I love the most about football culture is that it's more than just like fandom and enjoying the game. It's almost a religion for a lot of people. It's about the history, it's about the stories, it's about the reason for the rivalries, and it's gone on for decades, if not hundreds of years in some areas. A lot of the cities here in the UK are just built around the local football team, whether it is a Premier League level or it's just a local level. Such a different vibe than anything I've ever felt in my life. And going to a football game is also a completely different vibe than anything I've experienced. Although it's not something that I particularly enjoy being a part of all the time, it is something I very much appreciate. And I think is very unique to the football culture that originates here in the UK. Of course, around the world, it's the most popular sport in the world. But I think that there is something very, very special about the football culture that goes on here in the UK. And I really do love it. Number 30, darts. It's an incredible game to watch. It's so much fun. I have to do a lot of quick math, which is kind of challenging for me. Also, you get made fun of if you don't dress up in some kind of funny, fancy dress, silly costume to go see darts, which I think is always fun. I get behind that. Number 31, snooker. Now, I love billiards. I played it a lot when I was in the US. And of course, snooker is a completely different game, but I'm really latching on to it. I'm really starting to understand it now. And since I've been watching it for the last few years, and it gets really exciting to me when I see the champions. Snooker's had to be on the list. Number 32, British comedy. There's just something very, very special about comedy here. They don't take themselves so seriously, and they don't really have anything off the table about making fun of, which I really love. And speaking of British comedy, it brings us to number 33, which is the iconic comedy sitcom Fawlty Towers. In my opinion, the best sitcom ever made. Yeah, probably ever, I think, in my opinion. Absolutely love it and adore it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Short seasons, but sweet and totally, totally worth it. Number 34, The West End. This isn't just because I'm a theater person. What I like about the West End is that it's actually accessible and affordable to normal people. You don't have to break the bank to go see a show in London. It's fantastic. Number 35, the music scene. This is mainly about the mainstream music scene. In America, the mainstream music scene, you get the same kind of stuff churned out over and over and over again. And when you do have somebody that is unique and different, they absolutely blow up because it's so different from anything else that we're used to hearing on mainstream music. The diversity is great in America, but you really have to search for it and seek it out. Whereas here in the UK, it's kind of open. It's kind of a free for all. You don't have to seek it out nearly as much. They embrace a lot of different kinds of music in the mainstream era. And I really like that and appreciate it. And I'm being exposed to a lot of different kinds of music and songs and artists just being here in the UK. And I love that. Number 36 is dress up culture. I kind of touched on this when I talked about the darts, but just in general, people are not afraid to dress up. People are not afraid to be a little goofy, embrace the moment or embrace the show they're going to see or be a little crazy and wild. They just don't take themselves seriously. So I think that just contributes to the dress up culture. Number 37, Christmas crackers. I know they're hokey and they're kind of a little bit juvenile and definitely corny in some ways, but I just absolutely love them. They're lots of fun. 38, Christmas markets. Some people have said they don't like Christmas markets that much here in the UK, but I think they're great. I don't know if it's just because it's a little bit of a novelty for me, but some of them are cheap and silly, but some of them are really just like handmade, great craftsmanship and local vendors and stuff. So I like that. The next section is history hiding in plain sight. We're up to number 39. History is absolutely everywhere. It literally is everywhere at your doorstep. You have cobblestone streets. You have houses that have been here for hundreds of years. You have town centers that have been here for hundreds of years. There's castles that have been here for almost thousands of years. It's just insane. It's everywhere you go. And I love that as a history buff. Number 40 is the preservation of history. The fact that you still have these things, the fact that you can still live in these houses, you can still shop in these markets, you can shop in town square and visit these castles and palaces. Incredible. I mean, we don't have anything like that really in the United States. And it's something that I love about living here in the UK. Number 41, castles. Anyone who has seen anything on my channel knows I'm obsessed with castles. It's definitely my weakness. Number 42, alleyways. The alleyway system here in the UK is so unique and different. It's something I've come to appreciate recently. It's just that you can kind of cut through a lot of places and that you can go down an alley to, avoid going around a main street. And they're not something that you notice unless you're looking for them or you've been around for a while. So I'm definitely creating a new sense of appreciation for alleyways here in the UK. Number 43, Hampton Court Palace. Stunning, gorgeous. Definitely one of my favorite buildings I've ever gone to visit in my life. The building in Calais is a really, really good one, but I haven't gotten to visit it. I've just seen it from the outside. Hampton Court Palace is absolutely spectacular. I was blown away and I love it. Number 44, the surprise American historical ties, not the obvious ones, like not, that George Washington was really originally part of the British Army and all that kind of stuff, but like the unique surprise American homages that you find sometimes here in the UK. Like there's a statue of Abraham Lincoln in London. There is a statue of George Washington in north of England. I just never expected that kind of thing here in the UK. So it is a pleasant surprise when I do find it. Next section is getting around. Number 45, the London Underground. This has to be said. Compared to the New York City subway system, which is what I'm mostly to, it is absolutely phenomenal. I never really get too intimidated by anything. I can read where the rails are going. Everything's clearly marked. You know what you're doing when you get on the train. It's a lot more user friendly, and especially to people who aren't used to it or from around London. Number 46, a fairly well-connected rail system. The fact that I can jump on a train and get to almost anywhere in the UK, even though it might be a tad expensive and take a long time, it's still nice to know that I don't have to drive or get on a plane in order to get anywhere here in the UK. Number 47, efficiency of airports. Another shout out to Gogon London on this because I never thought of it until she mentioned it, but she's absolutely right. The fact that you have really efficient security systems here in your airports and that you don't have to like spend an hour or so on your security line or to get through customs is a huge, huge plus. We have an international airport in New Jersey, Newark International Airport, and it is one of the worst airports in the United States. It's awful. It's always late. There's always problems. They're always losing luggage. It's always a pain in the ass. So I do like the fact that I can come into Gatwick or Heathrow and not have to deal with that kind of stuff. Number 48, shopping on the high street. This is something I love to do, but I do kind of get sad sometimes when I'm there because I see so many buildings that have been neglected and so many places that are still up for rent or for sale. And it's such a beautiful, unique thing about UK. And I really wish that the local councils would put a little bit more money into restoring it and making it more inviting for businesses to set up shop there. Number 49, the fact that you still have butchers, fishmongers, and markets. This probably should have been up in the food area. But anyways, moving on. I just love the fact that you don't have to go to a grocery store to get stuff. I think that's great. Next section is nature that kind of sneaks up on you, but it's extremely pleasant. Number 50, beaches everywhere. We live on an island, so there's beaches everywhere. Not just are they everywhere, but you just have these little islands everywhere as well that you can kind of get away. It feels like you're getting away, even though you're not actually leaving the UK at all. Number 51, the Lochs of Scotland. I only saw a couple of them when we went to Scotland, but I do love them. They are unique and special, and they have these beautiful, mountains surrounding them, and they're crystal clear. It's absolutely beautiful. Number 52, the Isle of Skye. Absolutely incredible, but can't stand that it's so far away. Because if it wasn't so far away, I would definitely visit it more often. I absolutely loved it there. Beautiful. Can't wait to get a chance to go back and visit that again. Number 53. Countryside views. Not so much the countryside roads, but I do like the views that we get once we get to the top of the countryside or when we get a chance to pull over. I just love rolling hills and the farmlands, and it's just really, really beautiful. 54, English roses in springtime. Roses here in England are incredible, and in springtime, almost everybody has roses in their gardens and they're all in bloom and they're huge. They're like as big as my face. It's just spectacular. It's something I've never seen before. Number 55, springtime in general. Almost worth the long gray winters here in England, almost. Number 56, the long summer days. I mean, it is daytime in the summer from like 6 in the morning till like 9 o'clock at night. It is incredible to me. I mean, I love summer days anyway, and there are longer summer days in America as opposed to winter days, obviously, but they just seem to go on forever here in the UK, and I love it because I'm a summer baby and it just makes it so much better for me. Specific places that change my perspectives. Number 57, London. There's no other city in the world like it. Of course, was the center of the world at one point. It is so diverse. There's so much to do. It's so big, but yet never feels overwhelming or intimidating in any way. Love London. Number 58, Edinburgh. One of my absolute favorite cities I've ever been to. Edinburgh Castle, fantastic. Number 59, Dover. Dover Castle is probably more specific, not just because it's a castle, just all the history that surrounds it, the World War II tunnels, the fact that it's close to the beach, the fact that it's close to Europe. There's so much about it. Number 60, I did touch on this earlier, Scottish Highlands, gorgeous. Wish I can go back. Hope I can go back someday because it's fantastic. All right, the last section is the quiet but emotional payoff of living here in the UK. Number 61. opportunity for my child to learn and grow in ways I never thought possible. She has completely blossomed since we moved here. Of course, it was a little bit rough going when we first got here, but since then, she's just become this incredibly gorgeous English rose. I don't know how else to describe it. She has found her way, and I'm just so excited for all the opportunities that living here in the UK is going to offer her. Number 62. Reasonably priced higher education compared to the United States. I know there's areas where it is free. I know there's areas where it costs a little bit less, but compared to the higher education costs in the United States, it is amazing how much cheaper it is here in the UK. Love that, especially because I have a kid looking at going to sixth form and university. Number 63, the life chances that actually feel connected to the education that you get. Even during the GCSE process, like they're really, really open to, I think you're really good at this. You seem to have a knack for this, but is this something you're interested in? Never had anything like that in all the time that I was in the school system in the United States. It was, this is the next thing that you need to do. It's just not like that here. You have a little bit more of an openness here as far as just developing people and trying to get them into fields that they're not only good at, but fields that they're comfortable in and jobs that they'd be happy with. Number 64, I have to mention it, of course, access to Europe. Emotionally and culturally love the fact that the UK is so close to the continent and that you can just jump on a ferry or a train or a quick plane ride and you're there. I mean, it's fantastic for someone like me who always dreamed about going to Europe and never thought they were going to. This is hands down one of the best things about living here in the UK for me. Number 65, the final but absolute takes the cake cherry on top best reason for me to live here in the UK. The feeling that life here is something that you actually live and not just something that you're supposed to survive. Because to me, the meaning of life is all of that living. It's all of those experiences, having interactions with people, whether they're good or bad, exploring things, whether they're fun and exciting, or maybe even, take you for a little bit of an emotional ride. It's just something that you're supposed to experience. And I love that I can breathe here and actually experience life. Living here in the UK has taught me to do just that. And that's why it'll always be one of my favorite things about being here. Kind of tired now.